Why is it that someone who is not conventionally attractive can walk into a room and absolutely draw you in? They are just so magnetic. They just radiate this positivity, and you can't help but be drawn to them because of their confidence. What is it that sets those people apart? Let me paint a picture for you of a ballroom, a wedding, for example, where people are gathered around, mingling, they have their cocktails, they're making their way to the dance floor. And see this woman, and she is dressed to the nines. She is immaculate. Her makeup is done, her hair is done. She is graceful and poised. She is engaged in these conversations with her friends and people around her. Now, I want you to pan across the room, and you see another woman who is wearing something that doesn't fit her quite right. And she's tugging at her clothing and she's looking around to see who is looking at her. She gives off this nervous energy. Do you see the difference between these two women? Let's go through the 11 things that are guaranteed to make you come across as more confident until you believe it yourself. So, what is it that makes someone appear more confident? Well, one of the first things is going to be their posture. That is one of the things that you will see from across the room. If you see someone who is slumped over and hunched, you're going to notice that versus someone who is walking into a room with their shoulders back, their shoulders are dropped down, they're not hunched up. Their posture looks at ease. You notice that about someone. It comes across as relaxed and very poised. The next trait that confident people exude is that they look people in the eyes. They are not scanning around someone's face. They are very direct and intentional with their eye contact when they're meeting someone. They're reaching out their hand and looking that person in the eyes. They're not anxious about this interaction. The third thing that you'll notice about confident people is that they are sometimes loud and boisterous. However, a lot of truly confident people are not necessarily loud. They are not overly charismatic. They are not trying to project something that they're not. Sometimes the most confident people I have met have been more quiet and reserved and just really well mannered, and they listen to other people sometimes more than they speak. When they're listening to other people, that means that they are engaged in the conversation and not just planning out their next response in their head. Now, this leads into our next point, which is that confident people are self-assured. They are not walking into a room, panning the room, seeking the validation of other people. They know their worth and their value and what they bring to the table, typically because they are very well established in their lives, their careers, their relationships. They come across as put together. A lot of this comes down to planning, and I go into this in my video about being more polished. But a lot of these people that are very confident are not frantic and harried and trying to throw themselves together last minute because they have a routine that works for them and they stick to that routine. Every confident person that I have met has cultivated a life beyond their appearances. They have a sense of joy and purpose, and they are plugged into community. They really know how to be present. One of the ways in which to cultivate a life for yourself is to find hobbies and things that you are interested in, because interesting people have interests. Something that also brings a lot of confidence is when you are plugged into current events and you are in the know of what's happening. Because that way, in a conversation, if someone brings something up, you are not completely caught off guard by whatever it is that they're saying. And oftentimes, you will have something to add to that conversation as well. It's really easy just to flip through the news in the morning, get a general sense of what's going on, maybe zoom in a little bit if you're interested in something that is happening. And that way, when it comes up in conversation, you have something to add of value as well, which boosts your confidence. Confident people don't use a ton of filler words like, I don't know exactly what's going on today, but like, I think that do you see how there's lots of likes and ums? Instead of just letting there be silence and being confident in that silence, people who are more insecure are going to use a lot of filler words because they are uncomfortable with that silence, because silence can mean that someone is zooming in on you instead of just the words that you're spitting out of your mouth. Confident people don't attach their self-worth to things. And I feel like this is a common misconception. A lot of times you might associate someone who is really confident with being really wealthy, maybe more flashy because of all the things that they have, and they feel like they are more confident because of their stuff. Confidence does not come from your stuff. Confidence comes from within and how you are presenting yourself to the world, regardless of the things that you have. Now, this next one is so, so, so important because this is something that truly builds your confidence. Confident people are not afraid to fail. They have tried and failed time and again, and this is something that builds resilience of character. And once they have mastered something, they know that they can do it again. This is something that increases confidence. So don't be afraid to try something and fail. You get back up and try it again. And the reality is that there's a lot of people who never try anything. They play it safe. But it's when you take risks in life that you are able to get ahead and be successful and feel more confident because you know you can achieve things. The last and probably most important piece of all of this confidence boosting information is that confident people are at peace with their decisions. They are at peace with themselves. They are not, again, seeking outside validation because they trust their own intuition on things. They know that their decisions are the right ones for them, their families. So this goes for their overall appearance, for business deals, relationships. Confident people are not seeking external approval. They know that what works for them may not work for someone else, but it's right for them. And that peace is their presence. Really great example of a time that I was not necessarily super confident, but I projected confidence was when I was interviewing at the salon that I worked at in downtown. And it was a bigger salon with a wealthy clientele, a very bustling clientele that I really had no experience with. And so I came into this interview at 22 years old in my little silky button down and my little slacks and a gold belt. And really, I just remember trying to project this more mature, experienced persona. I tried to make sure that I wasn't talking over someone when we were having an exchange in this interview. And part of the interview also was that we had to do a cut on a live model. And I remember feeling so nervous because you have someone that is really critiquing your skill set and they don't know you. So I remember during this haircut, my interviewer almost coming across as like agitated and irritated with me. And instead of shrinking down and feeling insecure in that moment, I decided to flip the script and I would ask questions. I was like, well, then how would you do it? Because this guy he came in, he was barking at me practically. He's like, where is your cutting lotion? Why are you not having any tension in your comb? I mean, just kind of going off on me. But instead of feeling intimidated by him, I was like, well, no, show me how you would do it. Show me if your way is better, show me how you would do it. And because of how I reacted in that situation, it landed me the job. And I also eventually went on to be the assistant salon director when my boss was on maternity leave. And it ended up being such a great experience. But had I not shown up as confident and poised in those moments where I was under fire and under pressure, I probably wouldn't have gotten the job. I probably would have really struggled in my hair career because this particular salon focused a lot on education and I grew so much from being there. But I had to put myself out there in a way where I knew that I could fail, but I had to be at peace with myself enough to show up and make that moment count. Because of those moments, you really build your confidence and you have to be unafraid of failure. You have to be unafraid of people's opinions and judgments of you. And you have to really trust in yourself and the peace that you carry. A little exercise that might help you if you're struggling still is to picture someone that you perceive as really confident and study how they carry themselves. How do they dress? How do they interact with other people? This is really an opportunity of like fake it till you make it. You can kind of study this person's mannerisms and everything about them and then try to emulate how they present themselves. I hope that you'll implement some of these tips on confidence into your daily life so that you can show up more present, more focused, less concerned about the noise from other people, and really show people that you are confident and not just faking it until you make it. I'll see you in the next video.